Hi everyone, my name is Catherine Conway. I sit on the Agrifood group. I think Andrew Dove and Shaq are also on the call as well, so they can help answer any questions if they come to us. So Agrifood, I think it's probably worth saying that when we first started working on Agrifood, it became very obvious that a lot of the things that we were looking at were already being dealt with through other policies. So within the scope of our working group, we particularly overlap with a lot of other current strategy work going on within DEFRA, whether that's the food strategy, the farming roadmap, the land use framework. So if you don't see something in here, it might be because it's in one of those other strategies, but please do bring it up in the discussion bit just so that we've got it on our radar. But yeah, if you think there's a gap, it's possibly being dealt with elsewhere. So the scope of the agri-food work that we were looking at was looking at circular resilient agri-food system that prevents and reduces waste. So across the hierarchy, addressing plastics and packaging use along the supply chain and developing an approach for reuse, and then restoring soil health so that we can promote circular and sustainable use of resources. Also worth saying that we interface quite heavily with chemicals and plastics, and I think Andrew is going to talk through chemicals and plastics in a bit. So the sort of three broad areas that our focus has been on is maximising value and minimising costs for consumers by preventing and reducing food loss and waste. So that's ensuring a greater adherence to the food and drink waste hierarchy, whether that's through reducing surplus on farms, redistribution at all stages. That might be looking at sort of guidance on liability to ensure better redistribution, et cetera, et cetera. Co-designing measures with large food businesses, so understanding that it's not about putting more regulational burden on businesses, but there's huge opportunities to be had for all businesses through reducing food waste. So that could be transparency through reporting, looking at new and different behaviour change campaigns to reduce food waste. And then looking at some new interventions such as increasing the sale of loose fruit and vegetables, which would have huge benefits as well. So that's the first area. Second area is supporting businesses to dematerialise packaging across the supply chain. So that, broadly speaking, is looking at increasing rates of packaging reuse, whether that's in grocery or food service. Sorry, my brain. Grocery and food service, and then recognising that the packaging question feeds into a lot of the other groups like textiles, the triple E group, etc. So our group has a lot of interfaces with others. We've also been looking a lot at increasing recycling rates of on-farm plastics, which we feel is really important and maybe hasn't quite had the attention that it deserves. So there's going to be two different strategies looking at both reuse across the supply chain as well as on-farm plastics. And then the third one, which is super important, is increasing supply chain resilience through circular use of bio-waste. So really looking at the existing policy framework to ensure better and more circular bio-waste management. So that's looking at reviewing guidelines, strengthening standards, things like that. Developing mechanisms to incentivise organic fertiliser use, and that's across the sort of entire production and usage of whether that's better training, better understanding of what's in the fertilisers, so that we can promote nutrient use efficiency. And then finally, maximising food waste captured from household and commercial sources and minimising contamination. So that's everything from household level to industrial level, so that we can really make the most of the food waste that we're capturing.